federal anti-lynching bill just a few years ago, if you remember that. Even though no black person has been lynched in this country at all in living memory.
Wow.
Now, white people have certainly been attacked for their skin color, as we saw at the top of the show.
Let's not forget Emmett Till died. Literally, his cousins are still alive, bro. If this happened in 1955, it's 2020.
How old would Emmett Till be right now?
He would be 85.
Oh,
he'd be 85 years old today, bro.
We got that's like
I got a grandmother older than 85.
Right.
All right, guys, we have a special video for you today. You have been asking for it for a long time, and we finally made it happen. The Young Don Antonio Speaks collaboration. Today we are going to be debunking another anti-black slop video coming to us courtesy of the white supremacist and the evil Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire. But before we dive into it, Antonio, you know what I'm saying? I'd like you to say a couple words about yourself and where people can find you.
Yeah, man, what's good? Appreciate my boy Don for having me on the channel. A lot of y'all, even on my channel, been saying we got to collaborate.
It's the perfect time. We had to make this happen. But yeah, y'all can find me on Antonio Speaks or Antonio Talks. I pretty much do the same content on both of these channels. Antonio Talks is like more reaction, free based, and then Antonio Speaks is more like commentary, I guess, put together. But yeah, man, make sure y'all check out the content if y'all haven't already. And I know y'all seen Don react to some of my stuff over here, man. But we finna tackle this video right here and break down this slop, dog.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get to cooking, man. So go ahead and check out Antonio's channel. I'm linking to it in the description. We react to his content all the time. Great stuff. But without further ado, let's go ahead and start up this video with Matt Walsh.
I want to say that I did. I watched like the first couple of minutes of it, and I just couldn't finish it. But I was watching through it, and pretty much the main point that I got from this video was that basically Emmett Till deserved it. Okay, that is pretty much the whole I guess thesis of this video, because he didn't really debunk anything. He basically he's going to be like, he basically deserved it. So just keep that in mind. Yeah,
no, definitely. The whole video he spent trying to justify why these two grown white men kidnapped and tortured a 14-year-old black boy.
And the crazy thing is that the two men who did it afterwards, because you can't get tried again for a crime, they ended up going on press tour, doing interviews about it, basically stating that they did the shit. So it's what is the point of him even making this video? It's just crazy how a lot of these white men in 2026 keep trying to rewrite history, dog. It's scary and crazy.
It's insane. But all right, guys, let's go ahead and check out this video.
They're lying blatantly to our faces about events that we all experience.
Hey, I want to pause it right now. But this is just what I be talking about all the time within my videos. They can never even admit things that they have did wrong in the past, y'all.
Right.
It's like Malcolm X stated, these people don't even want to admit that the knife was ever in our backs. It is just so funny to me, like the obvious. During that time, we have multiple postcard lynchings, multiple photos of people standing, looking at bodies, smiling. Like, we have the evidence, but when we bring this stuff up, it's like, oh, you're being a victim. That was so long ago. It didn't happen for real. And now we're at the point where they're trying to start actually rewriting this history and saying that it didn't happen, even though it had. And the thing I find funny about a lot of these racist white people is that they will take credit for all of the good things that the white guys did. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we built Rome. We did this, we did that. But when you
ain't build shit.
Right.
You ain't build shit.
First, they don't even know how to build a fucking table. They can't even build anything. Most of their ancestors was fucking peasants anyway. But anyway, right?
That's true.
They can't even admit things that we got the credit to.
It's so the grand majority of the population of Rome were peasants and slaves, right?
Right.
And so it's funny that they think if they happened to have been born during that time that they would have somehow been like Plato or Socrates or like fucking, a part of the educated elite. Statistically, if you were born during that time as a white person, and Rome was also a very like diverse state, by the way. It was not just like a bunch of Caucasian Italians and shit like that. No, it was like a diverse group of people of all colors and ethnicities. But on top of that, this idea that they would have been born into you weren't even born into the elite here.
Right.
In America, you know what I'm saying? You don't have a college degree. You weren't even born into the educated elite here, where it was statistically far more likely. You think you would have been born into fucking royalty? No, you would have been a slave and died a slave more than likely. You know, and so it's just insane. It's insane, man. But to your point, bro, it's like they can't decide. Half the time they're trying to say it wasn't bad, right? So you have slavery was actually a blessing for black people. And then the other half of the time they're trying to pretend it never happened, right? They can't decide. So here it seems like Matt Walsh is going with it didn't really happen like that, you know, but it's all ridiculous, bro.
Cases were caught on video for the whole world to see. If they can and do lie about those sorts of things, imagine what kind of lies they can tell about events that none of us experienced with no videos to go back and check to confirm the record. Consider every supposed racist atrocity from decades or centuries ago, every quote-unquote innocent minority wrongfully persecuted by racist whites. I'm not saying that all of those stories aren't true. I'm saying that you can't assume that they are true. You have to go back with a skeptical eye, willing to question even the narratives that are most.
I wonder if he's willing to do that for white history, right? I wonder if he's willing to go back and question the narratives of all the great things that white colonizers and Europeans have done throughout history.
Bro, and to add on, it's like it's so infuriating just watching him speak, because it's like he's trying to the way he's talking is like, bro, you gotta understand, we in the time period that a lot of this stuff was going on, you guys you still are the dominant society. You control the narrative. There are so many stories that they don't touch upon. So he's talking about imagine the things that we didn't see. No, imagine the things that we went through that y'all don't even talk about, right? The facts of black people being eaten, you know, skin being used, that's all these type of things. You can't actually go online and verify, but I mean, like, why would they put that for you to see? It just makes sense of why that type of stuff wouldn't be accessible. But it's not far-fetched to believe that actually happened. We were property. You could do anything with us, right? And I'm going to send down a video of just showing like what I mean. It was a video of a woman. She had a family chair, a white woman. She had a chair that was passed down through her family, and the inside of the chair was black hair. It was used as like stuffing for the chair. It's an actual. I'm going to have Don put the video up.
Okay, so I decided to take this chair apart and redo it. Well, I knew it was old, but I didn't know how old it was until I got in, realized it had been put together with twine, burlap, and this. But then I noticed this black stuff that was used as padding. Can we please? It's human hair. Human hair and cotton.
When I say these type of stuff that I say and I tell these stories, people be like, "Oh, bro, you're crazy. That didn't happen." I don't put anything past it. You know what I'm saying? Because they were property. You could do whatever with us. You know what I'm saying? It's basically like you having a little. You know what I'm saying? You could do whatever. Nobody's going to say anything. It was like having a little pet dog. Like, I guess people would care if your dog died in 2026, but it's like it's still your property. Whatever you did with that, nobody really cares. So it's just him already talking like this is just it's insufferable, man.
Taken for granted, indeed, especially those narratives. So let's go through a couple of examples now. Let's begin that process today. And let's start with the killing of a 14-year-old black boy named Emmett Till. Now, there's a good chance that you've almost certainly heard of Emmett Till. As the writer Steve Saylor has pointed out, he's not just a fixture in high school history textbooks. He was also center stage during the BLM hysteria of the past few years. Quote, Emmett Till, who was murdered in...
Notice how he calls the BLM protests and the movement, which is a very justified movement calling attention to police brutality, right? And the unequal treatment of black people by the law enforcement. That's a hysteria, right? Insane.
1955 has been mentioned in 427 different New York Times articles over just the last 10 years. Emmett Till was mentioned more often in American books in 2022 than in any previous year. So as far as enduring myths go, Emmett Till is certainly up there.
Notice how he calls the Emmett story a myth, bro.
I want to add on. I know we're not even a minute in.
The basic narrative, which you've probably...
Go ahead.
I want to add something. I'm sorry we keep pausing so much. We barely into the video.
Right.
He's talking about the Emmett Till story. I think it's good that people highlight that, but there's so many other atrocities that they don't mention. Don got it up on the screen right here, but this is a little memorial of Mary Turner. And basically, this was a woman who, back in 1918, she was upset because her husband had recently been lynched. So she came out and was speaking out. And guess what they did to her, y'all? They lynched her. Now, the crazy thing about this story is that she was 8 months pregnant at the time.
Wow.
So, yeah, they didn't give a fuck. They lynched her. And just how they went about lynching her, it's like they cut her up, they tied her upside down, they ended up cutting her baby out. Ended up like just mutilating her, burning her up, like, and all of that to the baby as well. So it's like, he's talking about Emmett Till. In my opinion, Emmett Till was a horrible story, but there are so many other cases in history, like this one, that many people do not know about, that happened, and it's actual proof for it. You know what I'm saying? So, he's talking about, once again, stories that we keep bringing up Emmett Till. We're going to keep bringing up these stories, and they don't even bring up the worst ones that actually happened. Emmett Till's story was just so big because his mother, what she ended up doing with it, right? She was supposed to have a closed casket funeral, but because she wanted everyone to see how they did her son, this is why this case exploded. So, yeah, man, Matt Walsh is just full of shit already, bro. He's ultimate gaslighter.
Super gaslighter, bro.
Yeah.
Told in school and by the media is that Till was abducted and lynched by racist white people in Mississippi back in 1955. His crime allegedly was just simply whistling at a pretty white woman in a grocery store. Her name was Carolyn Bryant Donham. That was a serious violation of racial codes at the time, so Bryant, who was very offended, lied to her family and told them that Emmett Till had groped her. This is the story. And in response, Bryant's husband and his half-brother hunted the boy down a few days later, abducted him from a cabin, and brutally lynched him. The story was a major catalyst for the civil rights movement. Many decades later, in her 70s, Bryant admitted that she had lied about Emmett Till. Black activists then demanded that prosecutors charge her with the crime, and ultimately Bryant died before they could get their vengeance.
Now, notice how he frames it. Vengeance. See, if this was a white boy, you know what he would call it? You know what word he would call that? Justice. See, when we want to find justice for something that was done against us, is vengeance. We're bloodthirsty, vengeful creatures. But for them, they're seeking justice. Secondly, notice how he completely skips over the fact that the two men, right, this woman's husband and his brother, I believe it was, they admitted to it. They were paid $4,000 by a magazine for the confession, right? As you stated earlier, because they couldn't be tried again for the situation, for the crime, they ran no risk, and they didn't run any social risk either, because the white people at the time wouldn't give a fuck. In fact,
black boy.
Yeah, and you know, during the trial, so apparently 11 out of the 12 jurors, it was an all-white, all-male jury. 11 out of the 12 thought that he was guilty, bro. Only one person didn't think that he was guilty, but he agreed to acquit. You know why? They said they thought it was too harsh to give these men life in prison for killing a black boy. This was literally what they said. It wasn't even like, oh no, we couldn't believe they did this. They were like, oh yeah, they for sure did it, but we can't put these guys in prison.
This is what we be saying. Like, these folks will always stand behind each other. So when we do the same thing, then they always try to do some reverse psychology on you, right? Like you already stated, when he used the word vengeance versus justice.
Right.
Whenever you give them the same energy back, and you do things and play by their rules as well, they get up in arms and feel like you are cheating, right? And that's the whole thing about racism and white supremacy. It's so funny because how do you guys feel like you are so superior when you have to constantly do things to mess up the playing fields, right? You have to always make things better for them. And like I say, Matt Walsh, just the subtle things that he's saying when he's talking and you're picking up on, like you said, the vengeance, where it's just little dog whistle and little gaslighting tactics that they love to do. And the way they phrase these things, they always can phrase it in a way that puts it like, I'm not really racist, okay? It's just, you know, but when you pick up on it and you study these people, you know damn well what they mean.
Right.
So, yeah.
And notice he has not yet said that this didn't happen, nor has he said that it was wrong for happening. Right. We continue.
That is the official narrative. A few years ago, when Bryant passed away, CBS News repeated this version of events verbatim on air. Watch.
Carolyn Bryant Dunham, the white woman who accused Emmett Till of making advances towards her, has died. 14-year-old Emmett Till was kidnapped and brutally murdered by Bryant's then-husband and his half-brother in Mississippi in 1955 over the allegation. The two men were acquitted in his killing by an all-white jury, but later confessed in an interview. The case gained national attention after Emmett Till's mother allowed Jet magazine to take and publish photos of her son's mutilated body in an open casket. The horrific image shocked the nation and served as the catalyst for the civil rights movement. Years after Till's death, Dunham admitted to fabricating parts of her story, although she was never charged with a crime.
Right. Now, the problem here is that virtually every aspect of what that anchor just said is a fabrication. First of all, Emmett Till was not accused of merely making advances towards Bryant. That's an extremely, I guess we would say, sanitized and deliberately misleading way to present the story. According to Bryant's testimony in court, as well as her memoir, Emmett Till grabbed her hand and said, "How about a date, baby?" And when she tried to flee, Emmett Till followed her to the cash register, forcefully grabbed her waist and said, "What's the matter, baby? Can't you take it?" He told her she didn't need to be afraid and explained, quote, "I've been with white women before."
Now, let's
think about that.
Think about that. You know how old this chick was, by the way, when this happened? She was 21 years old. Emmett Till was 14 years old. So you want me to believe, when did this happen?
Bro, this is what, the 50s or 60s? Bro, and a fun fact I want to add to, a lot of people don't even know this about the Till family, was that I believe Fred Hampton's, you know what Fred Hampton is?
Yeah.
Fred Hampton's mother used to actually babysit Emmett Till. That's a crazy thing about it, right? But just even seeing how Emmett Till's mother was, I'm pretty sure she instilled things into him of like pretty much respect. And honestly, before we even get into things, like can we verify that? Like where does he get that source from that actually happened? Like I want to see proof of that, because like I said, just a random white man saying this. What accounts? Like, what do you get that from? You just pulled that shit out of his ass. Like, where the hell you get that from?
So you remember, right? She lied. And so initially in court, when she was trying to justify and protect her husband, she did say that all of this extra shit happened, right?
Okay. So he's going off of what he's going off the accusation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
21, right?
Okay, yeah.
So when she was 21, but also we want to hear it. So this black boy from Chicago goes to the South. Now you're a black person, and I saw this. A lot of white people, they don't understand black culture at all. They don't understand how black parents are with their black children, black mothers especially. You want me to believe in Jim Crow America, during the 1950s, a black woman, a black mother, sent her 14-year-old boy to the South, right? Down to Mississippi, I believe is where this happened, right? And this 14-year-old black boy, and this is during a time when, you know, society
you was you was scared of white folks. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, right? I mean, I can't see people doing this shit today. To be
I wouldn't I'd never approach a random white woman, you know what I'm saying, on some shit trying to flirt with you, especially when you're drunk. There's so many memes you can find online. They be like, oh, when you at a function and the white girl get drunk, you leave. There's so many memes like that. Stories like this, white woman tears. That's a real
thing. So you want me to believe in the 1950s, a 14-year-old boy was doing all of that to a white woman in the South? You don't think your brother told him, oh, you know that what they do down there, it's not like the North. You know, like he's going to be extra careful, extra respectful, extra afraid of white people. And he doing all of this shit.
So since all that happened, he said that he grabbed her waist.
Yeah,
Did anybody? I guess did anybody see that?
Nobody saw.
If they saw that, especially them back in the day, they would have beat his ass on the spot and when it did it. What is she? Or the cashier? Like what?
So she was the cashier, apparently. She worked there. She worked there. So they were alone for a minute, right? For 1 minute. This is the story. In a space of 1 minute, all of this happened, right? They were alone for 1 minute, and in that 1 minute time, he was doing all of this stuff to her, a grown adult white woman in the South in the 1950s. This is a 14-year-old boy. He barely got pubes yet, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to say this is a fucking little kid, bro.
I can't even imagine back when I was 14, bro.
Bro, I mean, just look at his picture. He looked like a jit. He looked like a 14-year-old kid.
That's what we say. They already view the younger boys as these grown, aggressive adults, like at young ages, and this is what we still see in 2026.
Yeah, bro, it's insane. It's insane, but shit, bro. So this is a story. He want to say all of this shit.
Yeah, so he's basically recounting the accusation she made. That was what she said happened. Okay,
right. But then he wants to deny when she told an author that who was writing a book about Emmett Till and got an opportunity to interview her. She told him that, you know, that part about what she had said he had said and done wasn't true. And now Matt Walsh is saying that never happened, essentially, that it was a lie. But even if it wasn't, right, let's go to the bizarre, crazy world where Emmett Till really did that shit.
That's what I'm saying. Is that still justifiable to lynch him and do what they did to him?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we don't want you assaulting women, any type of woman.
Yeah.
But, you know what I'm saying? Does that mean you need to ultimately be lynched and beat in the eyes gouged, your eyeballs gouged?
All right, I got you.
Does that warrant that type of reaction? That's what and that's what I'm stating. This is going to be his whole thesis.
Go drink the one I gave you.
Much more than whistling, so he got what he deserved. That is all he's saying.
Yeah.
But they be wanting us to feel sorry for niggas like Charlie Kirk. Like they want us to feel sorry for these white men or these white people that when shit happen to them, but they can never have the little amount of empathy for us. Hey man.
Definitely. And think of all the white men in positions of power who have been accused or in some cases even convicted of rape.
I gave you one.
That are still in positions of
power. That is what fries me, Don, too. They don't care about anything that happens to their women and children if it's another white man, right? The amount of cases I see. You heard about the recent FedEx case where the man he was delivering packages and he had ended up running over the little white girl and they ended up raping her and you heard about that case? If you look it up, you can just Google it right fast. The FedEx, he just got sentenced, I believe, and I didn't see any of these big right-wing pages talking about it.
A Texas jury heard graphic testimony against a former delivery driver who confessed to kidnapping and murdering a 7-year-old girl.
Tanner Horner faces a possible death sentence for taking Athena Strand from her Wise County home and then dumping her body in the Trinity River. In court today, 2 women who said they were raped by Horner years ago. They described how he manipulated them.
So sad.
Fox 4's Peyton Yeager in Fort Worth with that. Peyton.
Hi, Heather. Hi, Steve. And another witness took the stand today. Today's testimony ended with a DNA analyst from Texas DPS who testified remotely through Zoom. After Athena's murder, this analyst performed a sexual assault kit on Athena. And this analyst confirms that the lab did find male DNA on the swabs from that examination, that testimony happening late this afternoon, but it's not revealed today what specific male DNA was found, whether it was liquid or hair or skin cells. The analyst also testified blood and semen were also detected on Horner's FedEx shirt and other items of his clothing.
Eat your food. Eat your food before you make me upset.
Bro, death penalty.
Shut the door.
When I say, bro, we see cases like this all the time. You know, obviously, we don't fuck with any type of predator at all. But my thing is that whenever it is a you know, a white victim and a black aggressor, they will always be up in arms when in the majority of times things are taking place within your own communities. So it's just like y'all don't really care about these kids and these victims. Y'all just want to paint the narrative out to be racist.
Here.
That's all it is.
Emmett Till did not leave the store until one of his friends entered and forcefully removed him. So this was, according to her, an attempted sexual assault, not just in advance.
It was an attempted sexual assault. He's basically saying that this 14-year-old boy tried to rape her inside the store, right? Because he's not calling it a sexual assault. And then you got to be careful, because if he's calling a guy putting his arm around a girl without her consent sexual assault, then now he's got to say pretty much every fucking Republican in Congress is a sexual assault person, bro.
Right.
You know, he's like, well, we got to be careful how we throw this word around, right?
Bro, what you got to realize is the rules for thee are not for everyone else. You know what I'm saying? They get the special little things.
Mm-hmm.
Facts are obviously not flattering for Emmett Till, and for what it's worth, this behavior would not be out of character for the Till family. I think it's worth noting, Emmett's father was named Louis Till. He enlisted in the Army during World War II to avoid going to prison for domestic violence. But Louis Till's behavior did not change overseas. He was court-martialed for the murder of an Allied civilian during the Italian campaign, as well as the rape of 2 pregnant Italian women. Ultimately, he was found guilty and hanged. And incidentally, he had been incarcerated at the...
Now, of course, we don't even really know what happened. But let's say Well, let's say it's true. Let's say his father was a piece of shit. I thought Matt Walsh was a Christian, right? The Bible says that God doesn't... The children shall not bear the sin.
Anything, bro. Even right? that, God... what does that have to do with Emmett Till? His father. What does that have to do with him? And even, like you just stated, we don't really even know the full details of what happened. This was a long time ago where, you know, black people, you could just pin anything on them. You know what I'm saying? So obviously we got to take that with a grain of salt.
A handful of salt.
A handful of salt, right?
Well, we trying to say, let's say Emmett Till did, make a pass at that woman and put his arm around her waist. Let's say his father, did this heinous thing. What that got to do with kidnapping him, beating him, mutilating him, drowning him, fucking doing all? They tied barbed wire around his neck and dragged him about they tortured this dude, bro. Tortured him to death. It's like, what is even this logic? All he's trying to do is, again, justify the murder, right?
Nah, this is what they do all the time. Anytime we have George Floyd, they started pulling up his background, his criminal activities. They do all of this to, what is it called? Dehumanize this person and make it seem everything justifiable. This is why I'm so against the whole black fatigue trend, because what it's doing is demonizing black people, dehumanizing us. So if something ever happens and these folks got to exterminate us, they can always go back to, oh yeah, black fatigue, they were causing all these problems, they were doing this, they were doing that. It's now justified that they did what they had to do to us. So this is always what they do, and they hate when you do it to them. When we talked about Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf, right? All of the things, their dad, Jeff Metcalf, him being a racist, him being a deadbeat father, him having a fight with this son, like all this type of stuff, we bring it up. Now we're like, what do you know what I'm saying? When you play by their same rules and use the same strategies, they don't like that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think as black people, we got to play by their rules. You know what I'm saying? Stop trying to, you will never, you got to eye level. When they go low, you go low. If they want to be moral and be good people, we can be good people with them too. But when you do the same strategies as them, they don't like it. Because at times, we probably can do it better than them. You know what I'm saying? So,
for sure. Like, just like you're saying, if you imply that a white person is likely to be racist because their parents are racist, right? You point out, oh, you're the descendants of colonizers, it's in your blood. If you say anything like that, fucking they're tripping. And I don't believe in that. I don't believe that we should say...
Yeah, I don't think we should go by that way. Yeah, I don't think we should go by nature
or anything, right? Because, shit, man.
I do want to say this, though. Typically, I think while we can give us, I give us grace with that type of stuff, because usually racism is never something that is just inherited, right? It's something that is taught, right? Sure. So a lot of these parents, they're just teaching their children. So that is why we say, 9 times out of 10, if you're racist, you're going to end up teaching your kids that shit. Even if it's subconsciously, you start to pick up on it, right? You
Oh yeah.
You start to feed off of little things that they say. You start to believe it. And what I do see in 2026 is like a lot of white people. They come out and say, "Man, I had to detach from that." And I really appreciate those type of people who can be like, "Yeah, man, I grew up like this. My pops used to do these type of things, but I don't condone that shit." But also, we do have a big portion that still believe in the way that they do, you know, because it was just what they inherited, and they ended up believing that that is true.
Right. Same military prison as the American poet Ezra Pound, who was jailed for treason. Pound even wrote a verse about Livis Till saying, "Till was hung yesterday for murder and rape with trimmings." Now, of course, the fact that Emmett Till's father was a domestic abuser and a rapist does not by itself demonstrate that Emmett Till did anything wrong, but you know, if we're
what's the relevance? Why do you bring it up? Then?
I wanna look into that. So it said yes, Emmett Till's father was court-martialed and executed by the U.S. Army in 1945 after being convicted of raping 2 Italian women. That is true. It says a lot of historians and authors have long debated the fairness of this trial and whether the charges were racially motivated.
Mm-hmm.
He enlisted in the Army in 1943 after a judge gave him a choice between military and jail time for domestic violence against his wife, Mamie Till.
Mm-hmm.
While stationed in Italy, World War II, Till and another soldier were accused of breaking into a home, raping 2 women, and killing one of them. They were convicted by military court-martial and executed by hanging in July of 1945. Okay, so that is a true thing, but like I state, even just having context of that time period, and also other historians during that time, you know, they debated. Because we still have to take things like this with a grain of salt. But like I stated, I don't think it's fair to even say that just because his father was a rapist, that makes him one, right? Your dad could be a robber or a criminal. That's not something that's inherently in you.
But here's the thing, though. They don't want you to abort children that are the result of rape, right? So these same guys are very much against abortion, right? Woman gets raped, gets pregnant by her rapist. She wants to abort it. They'll say you shouldn't abort that baby. But according to Matt Walsh's logic, she should, because she's going to birth a rapist. By his logic.
Yeah.
If your father is a murderer, a rapist, a thief, or whatever the fuck, then you're going to be that as well.
Yeah.
If he doesn't believe that, then he had no reason to bring this up. He is just trying to poison the well and find reasons, just like you said with the Jordan.
Just finding reasons, that's all.
Any negative thing at all. But again, do they apply the same standard for the people they vote for, right? Did they apply that logic and rationale when they were voting for a president? Did they say his past disqualifies him as being a trustworthy person or a person of integrity? Of course not. And so these people truly diabolical.
Makes it more likely that he would engage in similar conduct, and taken together with Bryant's testimony, it's obviously context that makes her claim more credible, though still none of us can ever know for sure what really happened.
Why does what his father did in World War II or whatever the fuck makes this woman's claim?
I said, bro, they just feeding into this is what they do. They are just trying to make all of this shit justifiable, and this is what they did at that time period. They were saying all of this stuff that he's saying is what they were saying at that time period. That's why the historians and everything were debating. So Matt Walsh is just pulling the trick out of his descendants' playbook and doing what they were doing at that time to justify. This is why people at that time they have to tell themselves these type of things, right? They have to say, oh yeah, that black boy did it. That black boy, his father was like that, so we not even gonna question it. So this is the type of things they did to stroke that ego in them to make it basically to sleep better at night. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do.
At store that day. I mean, we really don't know for sure. But the major lie about Emmett Till is what happened many years after his death. And the claim from the left
and the media and activists is that Bryant later recanted her allegations that Emmett Till had physically assaulted her. They say that Bryant,
he says this is a lie,
admitted in her dying years that she made the whole thing up, and she feels really bad about it.
This is a core part of the story, and here's ABC repeating that claim. Listen.
We're coming. Reverend Wheeler Parker says that his Bible tells him to forgive. And he says that's what he's doing here.
Thank you.
Taking an overnight train to Mississippi with his wife, trying to make peace.
Oh, my goodness.
The murder of his cousin by a clan of racists.
If you dwell on it, you'll come out of it injured.
Nearly 70 years ago to this day, this is where the white woman who worked here claimed that his 14-year-old cousin had grabbed her, put his hands around her waist, and then told her he had slept with white women before.
Right, I forgot that part. So not only did this 14-year-old boy did all of that shit, but he was also like, oh, and I've banged a bunch of white women before. What a fuck. It was all a crazy story, man.
For the daily papers with quotes from a young Wheeler partner calling 21-year-old Carolyn Bryant a pretty lady. Interviews he says he never gave. Bryant and her husband Roy owned the store. In 2007, she told a book writer that she lied. And then she died in 2023, never apologizing to the black families.
What you should notice about all these stories is how definitive they are. All the official versions of the Emmett Till story make the claim that beyond a shadow of a doubt, Bryant admitted she was wrong. Pretty much everyone accepts this version of events to the point that just a couple of years ago, black activists tried to have the elderly woman thrown in prison. At the time, she was in her 80s and in failing health. But they didn't care. They went all the way to a grand jury, which rejected their claims. Watch.
Well, a grand jury in Mississippi today declined to indict the white woman whose accusations set off the lynching of Emmett Till nearly 70 years ago. Carolyn Bryant Dunham, now 88, initially claimed that Till made unwanted advances towards her at her family's grocery store.
All right, now here's an interesting thing, though. Do you think she should have served prison time in her old age, having come out and admitted that she made the story up?
Honestly, bro, I really don't think it would have did anything, man. I feel like that guilt was already really eating her up, even if that's why she committed it. I mean, bro, it ain't really. At the time of 2006, that's when she should have went to jail after she admitted that.
Yeah.
I guess going off by the Constitution, I guess she couldn't, right? They can't retry her, or is that like a whole?
Well, she never. So here's the thing: she didn't kill the boy. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if your girl came and lied to you about some guy assaulting her, and then you went and shot him, right?
She can't go to prison for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You the one that committed a crime. And so it's like, now she did lie. She could, I guess,
Matter of fact, yeah, I think, matter of fact, I do think she should have served some time, but it's like, I think they only do stuff like this because they get close to their death and they really, they start questioning. They be like, damn, I really did this messed up stuff. And like I said, I don't be thinking a lot of these people have souls the way that they be moving, though. Like, a lot of them, like, if you're able to go into these lynchings and just stand in front of a body and smile, like, I don't think you have a soul to do that. So, you know what I'm saying? Even this woman right here, maybe, I don't know, like, it's just weird. I think she should have gave some financial incentives to the family. You know what I'm saying? Her admitting that, doing an apology, going to his descendants, maybe, and clearing up things, you know, because if she revealed it, in 2006, why did it take so long, like in 2020, for it to come to the public? Because I didn't even know about it until like around 2020.
But yeah, it looks like a book, The Blood of Emmett Till. That's in 2007. She was being interviewed by a man named Tyson who was writing that book, and that's where she said that nothing that boy did could ever justify what happened to him. And he says that she had admitted to lying about him making verbal and physical advances at her. But then, apparently, later on, a memoir was leaked. That's what you said.
Okay. Evil women, still her revealing that it ain't gonna change shit. You still an evil woman. You ain't said nothing back then. You still probably stood by this man. So, hey, good riddance. Hopefully, that shit get handled.
No, definitely. Yeah, if there, I don't know what you would call that. I'm not a lawyer.
That's what I'm saying.
Accomplice to a crime, or you know what I'm saying? Would she be punished for lying on the stand? Whatever the case may be, if she was within statutes of limitations, if that hadn't expired, then definitely she should have been held accountable. But like you said, it wouldn't have brought Emmett Till back. But yeah, truly evil fucking woman, dude.
It led to the brutal torture and lynching of the 14-year-old. The prosecutor said the grand jury found insufficient evidence to charge Dunham.
Here's just a few of the top comments on that video to give you an idea of the public reaction. Quote, "She's definitely going to hell." Quote, "You got to be kidding me. Don't worry. God knows what you did. We know what you did. One day you'll receive what you deserve. May God hold Emmett in his hands." Quote, "Always angers me when the truly evil live to a ripe old age." Now, those are the least deranged quotes I can find.
I think those are deranged quotes, bro. If the roles were reversed, it would have been all great.
Bro, look at how
it's not even.
It's not even like, that's what I'm saying. It's only with them. Like, look at how the Jake Lang dude was talking during the Carmelo trial, talking about he needs to be lynched and he needs to be hanged.
Right.
I bet he feels the same way. Like I say, y'all folks, just state what you are, bro. You don't like black people. You know what I'm saying? Stop fucking playing around with us, bro. Like, you don't have to hide it. It's 2026. Like, I'm so tired of this. Like, you know what I'm saying? They make little videos like this from really trying to dance around how they really feel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If it was a black person that did what to Emmett Till, if the roles were reversed, Emmett Till was a white boy, he would feel the exact same way about those comments, bro.
Definitely.
And it's all out bloodlust.
Did you hear the words coming out of my mouth?
And it's all based on a total fabrication. Bryant never recanted her allegation.
It's not bloodlust to say someone's going to rot in hell either, by the way.
The claim that she recanted was made by a historian named Timothy Tyson. He wrote a book in 2017 called The Blood of Emmett Till, in which he claimed that Bryant recanted her claims about Till in 2008, many decades after the incident. He recorded all of his interviews for the book, including his interviews with Bryant, standard practice for historians who are writing a book. So you'd think he'd be able to support his claims, especially a claim as explosive as that one. But it turns out that somehow Tyson's transcripts and audio recordings did not capture this bombshell admission. The FBI opened an investigation into Tyson's claims, since it would obviously be relevant to a criminal proceeding, even if the statute of limitations had expired, and they found no support for it whatsoever.
Okay, but
this is from the
pause. Like, even if that's the case, I mean, she still could have lied about it at the stand. Just because she didn't admit that in the book, it doesn't take away the fact that she could still be lying about the whole situation.
The book came out, she never came and said that he lied. She never said that what this man wrote in the book is not true. Nobody from her estate did. Okay, Matt Walsh's entire theory that this is a fabricated accusation being put on this woman is because the author didn't happen to record the exact moment that she communicated that she lied. Somebody comes out and writes a book you got interviewed, and they put in this book that you said you lied about a crime that happened that led to one of the most infamous murders and civil rights situations in all of American history, and you're just gonna let that lie float out there without saying, I ain't telling him that. That's complete. He made that up, right?
Yeah. Okay. So I see what he was talking about. So let's say back in 2018 and 2021, following the Bush release, the U.S. Department of Justice reopened the Emmett Till case. However, when the FBI analyzed Tyson's recorded interviews, they did not find a recorded audio clip of her making the exact recantation. Don Ham also denied the federal investigators that she had ever recanted her story, because investigators could not prove she lied to Tyson.
You took my shit, go fucking drink it. What is wrong with you?
What are you talking about, Matt? What the fuck? This video has 300,000 views, bro, and they just be sitting here lying, pulling shit out their ass. Like, what are you talking about?
And it's scary how easily his audience believes this shit, bro. So I ran into somebody in my neighborhood, happened to spark up a conversation with this person during the Carmelo Anthony situation. Older white guy. Bro, when I say he was rattling off every single lie, they took the money and bought a house, they bought a car, this, that, and the third. Like, every single lie that you hear from Matt Walsh or Fox News, he was just rattling this shit off. And I'm like, no, that's not true. No, that's not true. Look, here's a link. And it's too late. He's already, and so this is what happens to their audience, bro. It's very fucking crazy how much they eat this shit up.
They're lying to us about what the woman alleged Emmett Till did to her. They're lying by claiming the woman recanted her claim. She didn't. And they're burying a lot of
evidence of that.
So like I'm saying, even it's just like what we already stated. Okay, even if she lied, I'm just saying hypothetically, like Matt Walsh said, even if she lied about it, the facts of the case is that she claimed he walked up to her and said all these things and grabbed her waist. That warrant them folks doing what they did to Emmett Till. And if you can say that it was warranted, then that says a lot about you. And don't start crying when shit like this happen to y'all.
Exactly.
That's all we saying. Okay.
Exactly.
About the case, about Emmett Till, including the fact that
his father was a rapist. And with all that in mind, you have to...
Does that have to do with anything?
I wonder if they're telling the truth about
showing should go and dig up every
fucked up thing Matt Walsh's father has ever done in his life.
And his father.
Anytime Matt Walsh is being criticized, we should remind the world that, hey, your father did this, and your father did that, and your grandfather did this, and your grandfather did that.
But they are the same ones that say, hey, we didn't do what our ancestors did. We didn't do this, but you know, bro.
Yeah, they want to take credit for Rome, don't want to take credit for slavery. It's insane, bro.
Any aspect of this particular story. I mean, once they're willing to fabricate important details in order.
Another thing, though, most white people don't go back to Rome. That's another fucking bullshit. Just like,
bro, you know, Rome. Them dudes in there doing like they love talking about Rome, and y'all don't even know what they really used to get down doing over there, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? These masculine dudes want to claim Rome. Y'all don't even understand Rome for real. They just be talking out their neck.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. They were a very LGBTQ friendly society.
Right, but they don't. But they so against it. They're so against it. They don't even understand things, bro. It's funny.
Yeah, even crazier than that was the acceptance of pedophilic relationships. It was very normalized and common for there to be these kinds of pedophile-like relationships between adult men and little boys. And so,
I mean, look at the Bible, bro. Like, I mean,
the Bible's filled with nasty, crazy shit.
That is why we see such a. This is why we always see a correlation between these pastors and Christians just doing stuff to children, bro. It's yeah.
I mean, someone has to explain the connection. Why is it that you got so many pastors and priests touching on little boys and little girls, especially little boys? What's that about?
Create a myth, for the purposes of launching the civil rights movement, then there's no reason to trust anything they say about it. Now, does that mean that his killing was justified? No, obviously not. It was a brutal murder. We know that. There's really no...
Wow, 11 minutes into this 17-minute video, he finally admits that regardless of all the bullshit that he's saying, even the shit he's lying about and adding it on top of it, trying to make it sound worse, you know, in terms of how you view Emmett Till and his family.
So what was the point of this whole video, bro?
To try and make the
listen, I understand that he said that, but what is his point of saying all of this and bringing up all this dirt on him if you want to say, oh, it still wasn't justified? No, he's just saying that to save face. He believes that shit was justified. He believes it. I don't care what he's saying right here, because why would he go and say, oh, yeah, his father was this, he did this. It was actually more than a whistle. It was this, it was that, it was that. But it wasn't justified.
You know why? You know why he says it? It's because if black people do this to white people, we can just be like, bro, you said this was green. You said that.
Yeah, let's say you play by their rules. And
exactly. Right? Just like that video you posted recently of that black woman killing that white man who was harassing her. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we have so many examples. They see these propaganda.
They try to do it.
Like the entire white population is perfect. But if this is the standard that he wants to live by, it's going to be a lot of white people dropping dead all the time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But of course, it's never appropriate. Then, how about you just say that it's not appropriate when anybody does it? Right? Stop making it okay.
Bro, they love to say, like, even with that incident, they love to say, fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out. You do this. Why didn't he walk away? What they say about Carmen? Why didn't he walk away?
Yeah, why he ain't walk away? Why he ain't walk
like
away?
I said, we are never
allowed to, you know what I'm saying? That's my whole like argument with all of these self-defense cases. However you feel about it, whether these things, my thing is that we are never given the same type of grace. We are never given the same opportunities. We have to always walk away. The white dude constantly walked up to that woman, and these folks are still saying that she should have not did what she did.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Disputing that, but the popular narrative about this case leaves out important details and blatantly lies about others. And there's no disputing that either.
Pause. I'm sorry. One more time.
Which makes you wonder.
What blatant lies, though?
None. He hasn't.
What blatant lies? If he's talking about the lie of just whistling.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's not a lie. That was a part of the story.
That was a part of the story.
Right.
Or the thing about her lying about, I guess, her not saying it in the book. I don't see anywhere where she said that she didn't say it.
Exactly.
I didn't see that. And she had all this time since 2008 to 2022 to say, I didn't actually, we didn't see any of that. So what lies are you talking about, Matt? What lies?
Right.
What else about the story they aren't telling us?
Oh, and what's up, chat?
Nothing
For
about
some
the
reason,
story
it's not letting me
or
type.
any of these
I
kinds
tried
of
to
stories
comment,
can be taken on
but
faith
it's not
anymore.
letting me type.
Doesn't mean they're all wrong.
Taken on faith. What aspect of this story are we taking on faith? The men admitted to
Hopefully, I didn't just summon a
Listen,
demon.
it's frustrating me, bro. It's frustrating because what is he talking about? We can't take it at faith. We can't take any of you guys' stories at faith. That is the whole thing. You guys control the media at the time. You guys control the narrative at the time. You guys, when they killed, when they were harassing the Black Panthers and doing all these types of things, specifically with the Fred Hampton murder case, when they did what they did to him that night, the newspaper the next day plastered it everywhere and basically put it as like, you know, an aggressor was killed. Fred Hampton, he was terrorizing these people. The whole time we know what Fred Hampton was really doing. So like, you guys always, we can't take this stuff at face value. You know what I'm saying? So this is why when we see a case like Carmelo Anthony and we see the case like Nolan Wells, we aren't taking that shit at face value because we see constantly, time and time again, how you guys try to paint narratives. Going back to Fred Hampton, they said all of this at the time of the assassination of him. 10 years later, his family was gained like what they basically won a lawsuit. Basically because he was like, you know what I'm saying? So you guys always control the narrative. We can't take things at face value. So what is he talking about? Like what they just never have accountability. They say black people can't take accountability. You guys literally never, ever can take accountability. The whole thing is like, bro, like even with slavery, like it's like we understand the shit happened. Especially my standpoint, a lot of people that feel the same way. We understand slavery happened. We understand all of these bad things happen. But it's like a lot of y'all, like Matt Walsh, can't even admit that shit was wrong. They can't. They'll be like, oh, you guys would have been in Africa if we didn't start slavery. Oh, you guys, back in that time.
The thing they don't want to acknowledge is that Africa wouldn't be the way it is today if they didn't depopulate it and destroy it.
And that's a whole nother conversation that I've been diving into African history, bro. It's crazy how they control the narrative.
Be here in America as a black person. You imagine if you were in Africa, Africa would be a completely different place. And America wouldn't be what it is today if it weren't for all the slaves that were stolen from that land, all the black people that were stolen from that land and turned into slaves.
It's frustrating. Let's finish.
Like, it's
bro.
Wild, bro.
It's insufferable. It's insufferable.
Wow. Any of these kinds of stories you learned in school, you should go back and get in.
Imagine if African people still had all the rights to the minerals and the gold and the fucking rare earth minerals that they're using in computers and shit like that today. If Africans still had control over that,
if they weren't put in such an economically desperate situation as a result of colonialism to where they have to sell off the rights to all that shit to fucking China, like, Africans would be some of the wealthiest people on the fucking planet right now, bro. It would be literally possibly the wealthiest countries in the world would be in Africa right now if it weren't for that. And if that was the case, guess where every single black person on the planet would want to be living, right? In those African countries. But
not just them, everybody else too. White people would want to be moving there, Chinese people would want to be moving there,
because it would be the most developed place on the country. But You know what I'm saying? The history of the evil of white colonization led to it being in the place that it is, just as it led to so many black people being at the bottom of the economic totem pole here in America. And then they want to turn around and like rub that in our faces. It's insane, bro. It's insane.
You cannot assume that any of them are entirely true, and many of them might be entirely wrong. And in fact, lynchings in general are one of the most inflammatory aspects of American history, and therefore nobody wants to be honest about them. There's a hysteria about lynchings that led to a
hysteria. He says no one wants to be honest about him. You know who he's saying that doesn't want to be honest about him? Black people. Black people don't want to be honest about it. We're making them seem as if they're worse than they actually are.
Anti-lynching bill just a few years ago, if you remember that. Even though no black person has been lynched in this country at all in living memory.
Wow.
White people have certainly been attacked for their skin color, as we saw at the top of the show.
Let's not forget Emmett Till died. Literally. His cousins are still alive, bro. Like he's saying, within living memory, there are people who are related to Emmett Till that were alive and remembered when this happened. So Emmett Till is living memory. That was what, in the late 1950s? Bro, what would that be? That's like 70.
Yeah. He would be like 90-something right now. If he
was alive,
14 at the time, maybe like
he was 14. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to do the math.
Yeah, I don't do the math right. Yeah, but he, if he had kids, his kids would still be alive. Most definitely still be alive right now. His cousins are still alive. So
here,
you can do the math. You can look it up. Right
yeah. It's like if this happened in 1955. It's 2020.
How old would Emmett Till be right now?
He would be 85.
Oh.
He'd be 85 years old today, bro.
We got grandparents. That's like
they're older than 85.
Right.
And so there's that. Emmett Till was not the last person to get lynched in America, right? This man is.
Bro, we just had so many cases. 126.
Yeah.
Understand black people commit suicide from a tree. There have been countless cases this year alone. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what are you talking about? Obviously, these people, they are the judges, they are the police, they are the lawyers, they are the coroners. So if these lynchings happen, do you think they're really going to report them? Like, what are you talking about? They're not. Oh man, boy.
1,000%, bro. All right, and so he doesn't really have anything else meaningful to say. And so I wanted to bring up this document that I found. Is insane. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link to this PDF in the description. It's called the Crimson Record: 7-State Modern Day Lynchings Reported from 2000 to 2025. So these are all things that happened since the year 2000, right?
Wow.
Check this out, bro. I'm just going to read you a few. And we're going to just stick with Mississippi since Emmett Till's murder happened.
Also, that new case of Nolan Wells, that happened in Mississippi.
That was also in Mississippi.
Yeah. Take this stuff with a grain of salt. Look at this. This is crazy. All of this information on here, dog.
All right, so check this out. And I looked into the first few examples cited here just to be like, see the validity of it. Could I find a news report on it? And every single one I looked up, I could find like news reports, police reports, people talking about it. But what you won't find are mainstream coverage.
Yeah.
All of this shit, these incidents get swept under the rug. They're not covered. If these were white people, if these were things happening to white people, there would be Netflix documentaries about all of them. Everyone would have heard about them. But it happens to black people. Look at this. Tell me if you heard of this story. Leon Hayes. This was in 2021 in Mississippi. In January 2021, Leon Hayes was found decapitated in his backyard in Wayne County, Mississippi. Mr. Hayes had been seeing white women, a mother and daughter, whose husband/father was a butcher. There was no blood at the crime scene. Right? So he was decapitated somewhere else, suggesting that Mr. Hayes was lynched elsewhere and his blood-drained body was dropped at his home.
Julian, which is a civil rights activist organization, right? Which was started by a black civil rights attorney. So Julian was asked by a law enforcement officer to conduct this investigation as he believed a thorough and proper investigation would never take place. Authorities never tested the butcher's equipment or facilities for Mr. Hayes' blood or DNA. Instead, authorities claim that Mr. Hayes' small dog chewed his head off. This is what the saying, bro.
This is what I say. Mississippi, these people, the Mississippi is still stuck in that same time period, folks. You know what I'm saying? Like, they are the coroners. Like I stated once again, they are the judges. They are the detectives. They are the pope. Like, they control everything. These. They think we crazy when we talk about this stuff, bro.
And this is the dilemma that I personally face. It's like all the black people in America live in the South, bro. Like, the largest black populations are in southern states. But the southern states is where all the racism, well, not all of it, but the worst racism type of shit where this kind of shit is happening. You know, like, for instance, in this report, this PDF, all of the states cited are southern states. They don't have this I'm not saying racism doesn't happen in New York or fucking, you know what I'm saying,
other places,
other states, right? But this kind of shit only happens in the South, bro. All right, so what else did they say? However, the cut that separated his head from his body was straight, suggesting it was done by a sharp object in a swift motion. So the wound looks like his head was decapitated with a blade. They're saying that his dog,
chewed it off.
His own fucking dog, which is small, chewed his head off. When have you ever heard of no shit like that, bro? You know what I'm saying? Okay, all right. Here's another story. I'm gonna just read you a few of these. Right, look at this, and you're gonna see a very common pattern here. So the first guy, he was dating white women, right? Look at this next guy, Willie Andrew Jones Jr., Scott County, Mississippi, 2018. On February 8th, 2018, it was the dead of night in Scott County, Mississippi, when Willie Andrew Jones Jr., a 21-year-old black man, was found hanging from a tree in his white girlfriend's front yard. Within 40 minutes of Willie's mother arriving on the scene and no interviews conducted, a sheriff's department investigator told her it was a suicide and nothing else. See, but this is how Matt Walsh gets to say that black people aren't getting lynched
in modern America, because the sheriff, they just say it was a suicide.
And also, bro, like I said, these police be in on it. And like I said, you can find a map of just the sundown towns that still exist in America right now. You know what I'm saying? These sundown towns, you know what a sundown town is where places where things like this happen and they just get swept under the rug because the police are the people doing it.
They work with the people doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know, I just talked about the Nolan's Wells situation. I posted a video today, the day I'm recording this with you. And I saw in this one comment, because I had said something along the lines of, look, man, you don't want to be the only black person hanging out with a bunch of white people. You don't want to go anywhere where it's going to be predominantly white people and you're the only black person. Yeah. And in the comment section, of course, you get a guy calling me racist. They say you're such a racist. But then when shit like this happens, and then so let's say a story like this, we covered a story like this, and you would say, man, maybe this is why you got to think twice as a black man before you date a white woman, especially in the South. And then the white people will come and say that you're racist.
This is what you got. They got to understand. When we say things like this, it's not about us being racist. We're not saying you shouldn't have white friends. Like, you can have white friends, but usually
what you notice is that when with these cases, and it's a group of people, and you're the only one, you're standing out, you're the black person. We have seen multiple times where you end up the only one missing or the only one dead. What are the odds of that? And why do we keep seeing this pattern? So it's like we got to start being honest with ourselves, man. It seems like
y'all aren't prioritizing us when we go out. Y'all ain't looking out for us. Or two, it could be more sinister. Y'all doing this type of shit.
So it's like, come on, bro. It's not racist to state that at all. It's self-preservation. We gotta start moving. We gotta start moving accordingly. I feel like a lot of people live in this play label world where we just think, oh yeah, racism is gone. Racism is not gone at all. These people, these descendants of these people run the world nowadays. They teach their kids this type of stuff. So you know what I'm saying? We just gotta start moving accordingly.
1,000%, bro. And and it's also about the system.
Because let's say you flip it. Let's say a white boy is hanging out with a bunch of
black boys in the South or the North, doesn't matter where, and the white boy turns up missing or ends up hanging from a tree. You know what's not going to happen? The sheriff is not going to look at this and in 30 minutes say this was a suicide and that's all that happened.
They're going to crucify him immediately. Those boys immediately. Yeah. And that's why they're mad. We're doing it right now because we're you know what I'm saying? We tired of seeing this pattern happening. You know what I'm saying?
So this was in
2004.
Roy Vale was a 55-year-old black man who was found hanging in a tree. So many hangings, bro.
So many hangings.
Hanging to a tree, like that, bro.
Right, in rural Woodville, Mississippi on April
12th. And why not in your house? If you're you know what I mean? If you're going to hang yourself.
If I'm trying to get myself up out of here, I am going to go in an isolated place where people can't stop me and see me and be like, help me out if I'm doing it. Why would I go in public and do this?
Yeah. And in 2026, who's hanging themselves, bro? Like, if you're out and free, there's so many other ways.
Right, not to encourage you guys to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Don't
do that, yeah. But
I'm just saying, it's like, if it were up to me, how I would do it. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not going in public. Getting
that, bro. Like, you got more efficient, effective, sometimes painless, definitely instantaneous ways of just,
right.
It's crazy shit,
bro. They think we stupid.
It's crazy, bro. All right, but anyway. He traveled to his hometown from Washington State to prepare for a lawsuit along with other family members regarding their property. He was found hanging with a pillowcase over his head from his mother's home. So he not only did that, but he covered up his head as well. The family said there may have been people who are trying to prevent the family from making progress in their legal efforts due to possible oil production on their land. Wow,
man. Insane. But yeah, guys, I'll link to this in the description when I say that there are 70 stories just like this all happening within the last 25 years. You know, to say that lynching doesn't happen in America is insane. And when you take into account that this is only probably like 7 states are listed here, right? You know, it makes it even worse. But yeah, guys, that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Shout out to my boy Antonio. Go ahead and check him out. Links down below in the description. Antonio, thank you for pulling up, bro. This was a good time.
Yeah, no problem, dog. Yeah, this was a great video. I love going through slop like this and just dissecting it because, like I say, when you actually question it and you look into it, it doesn't make sense. These people, they are the ultimate gaslighters. They are the ultimate manipulators, and they love to use reverse psychology on certain things, bro. They are like what they call it, Jedi mind trickers, bro. Mm-hmm. But once you actually sit down and you look into what they say, it all falls apart.
All falls apart, bro. All right, guys. Well, that's the video. Thank you for watching, and until next time, peace out.
CashNet USA knows the struggle.
Okay, so we have the car payment, the rent, utilities, and the repair bill. What should we do?
Get money fast at CashNetUSA.com. Apply in minutes, get an instant decision.
And if approved, you could have the money in your account as soon as the same business day. Go to CashNetUSA.com to apply for the money you need now. The exact timing as to when your loan funds will be available will be determined
by your banking institution.
All right, check this out. The President of the United States continues to dig himself into a deeper and deeper hole every single time he's asked about his sex trafficking dead best friend from the early 2000s. And I just want to say a few things. First of all, this is not normal. That sentence I just opened with is not normal in any regard. Secondly, I have a simple question for the Trump supporters that watch my videos, or anybody that watches my videos. Is it too much to ask? At the very minimum, is it too much to ask for a president of the United States to be able to hold a press conference without launching into a 3-minute tirade about his ex-best friend who sex trafficked girls from his Mar-a-Lago resort? Over the past 3 weeks, every single time Donald Trump has stepped in front of a camera, he desperately tries to evade any question about Epstein or pivot, but can't help but to take the bait and ends up giving this shocked face when he's asked follow-up questions. Remember during the debate with Kamala back in the campaign season, when Donald Trump took the bait every single time Kamala Harris laid a trap. She laid trap after trap after trap, and Donald Trump cleanly fell for it. Well, every single time he steps in front of the camera now, he cleanly falls for the questions. I mean, they're valid questions being asked, but he can't help himself just launch a tirade about Jeffrey Epstein and Virginia Giuffre and about Obama. So I want to go through and show you some moments from the past day or two where Donald Trump is really cleanly exposing himself. I mean, it doesn't help that Elon Musk is still ragging on him on social media. Let's just start here very quickly. By the way, I'm Adam Mockler. Make sure you're subscribed to the Adam Mockler channel right below. This reads, Elon Musk mocks Trump's White House Epstein files cover-up. On Friday morning, Elon Musk quote tweeted a viral post highlighting the lack of accountability for Epstein's network. The tweet featured an image of Bill Clinton, Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell, along with a caption noting the government's ability to track the population's movement during COVID and capture January 6 protesters, but not a single Epstein associate. So the original tweet says, just a reminder, the government tracked everyone's movement during COVID when Trump was president. I don't even know how true that is, but then failed to track a single customer of Jeffrey Epstein. Elon Musk quote tweets it with the blind Simpsons meme. Remember, Elon Musk is the one who originally said, time to drop the really big bomb. At real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Every piece of evidence we've gotten since then has been supportive of that. Even Pam Bondi saying that there's no client list supports the fact that Elon Musk says Trump is in the client list, because he's literally saying they won't release it because Trump is in it. So that supports it. Then we also learned that the DOJ, the FBI, sat Trump down back in May, looked him in the eyes and said, your name is in this list many times. We also know that Donald Trump promised to expose Epstein back in 2022. He reposted this meme in 2022 on True Social. It says, they didn't go after the big guy. They didn't go after Biden's crackhead son. They didn't go after Pelosi, the Clintons. They didn't go after Epstein. They went after the one man who promised to expose them all. No, they went after the one man who out-corrupts them all. I keep using this analogy, but Nancy Pelosi doing, like, behind-the-scenes stock trading is not good. They should investigate that if it's true, but that is a grain of sand of corruption on Donald Trump's beach of corruption. Nancy Pelosi making $50,000 on a trade is awful and terrible, but Donald Trump taking a $400 million jet from Qatar should not be put on the same level as that in any regard. This brings me to a string of Donald Trump clips that just get worse and worse. I want to show you this one from August 1st, yesterday, where Donald Trump is asked, 7 years from the time that you learned people were being stolen from Mar-a-Lago, you then praised Epstein. And Trump says, I don't understand your question. Just tries to brush it off.
7 years. 7 years. The time that you learned that people were being stolen from Mar-a-Lago, the time that you picked up, that you took Jeffrey Epstein. I don't understand your question.
He doesn't understand the question. Here's the question. Why did you kick Jeffrey Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago for quote-unquote stealing workers like Virginia Giuffre back in 2000, but then praise him for liking young girls back in 2003 and sent him notes? Donald Trump clearly knew about Jeffrey Epstein's, degenerate proclivities, to say the least. Here's Donald Trump with a stunned look on his face being asked about Epstein in Turnberry, Scotland.
On August 1st and beyond. Okay?
Mr. President, part of the rush to get this deal done to know Jeffrey Epstein's story.
Oh, you got to be kidding with it. No, had nothing to do with it. Only you would think that.
You gotta be kidding, Donald Trump says. Then he's asked about Russiagate yesterday and begins ranting about the Epstein files. This one is truly embarrassing. Take a look.
Cash Patel reportedly found burn bags of Russiagate materials, and we'd love to get your thoughts on that.
He said what?
Burn bags of Russiagate materials.
I don't know that. I don't know what you mean by that statement.
Say it.
Bags full of Russiagate
A
documents.
burn bag. I thought you said appointed them in a burn bag. Go ahead. You got to speak up.
Thousands of documents in these bags, supposedly burn bags at the FBI and secret room.
Well, I want everything to be shown. You know, as long as it's fair and reasonable, I think it will be shown and it should be shown. And I think he feels that way, and I think Pam feels that way. But it's got to be, it's got to be stuff that really doesn't hurt people unfairly, because you have so many people involved. And if they can do that in a fair way, I think it's great. I think it's really great. The whole thing is a scam. It's a scam set up by the Democrats, and they love talking about it. But I would like to see people exposed that might be bad.
Yeah, I mean, yourself. Every single time he talks about this, he can't help but incriminate himself. He was literally asked about this Obama conspiracy theory, and it starts launching into a scam from the Democrats, clearly talking about Epstein. And in it, he says, there's a lot of stuff in there about a lot of people that could hurt a lot of people. He keeps muttering that under his breath, like there's stuff in there that could hurt a lot of people. Dude, you're clearly talking about yourself. You're clearly implicated within the files, and that's why you guys are hiding them. Here's him 2 weeks ago, walking past reporters after being asked about the files.
Mr. President, why not go further than just unsealing the... President, you cannot release the full file.
Lord have mercy. Here's Donald Trump being asked about Virginia Giuffre.
But also, the family of Virginia Giuffre released a statement overnight in response to some of the comments that you made this week. You said that Jeffrey Epstein stole people from Mar-a-Lago. At the time, did you know why he was taking those young women, including Virginia?
No, I didn't know. I mean, I would figure it was ABC fake news that would ask that question, one of the worst. But no, I don't know really why. But I said if he's taking anybody from Mar-a-Lago, he's hiring or whatever he's doing, I didn't like it, and we threw him out. We said we don't want him, at the place. This is a story that's been known for many years, as you know. But it's, I didn't like it that he was doing that. Yeah, please.
Even Triple H, the WWE wrestler, looks really, really uncomfortable when Donald Trump deflects and attacks the media. Look at this.
ABC fake news that would ask that question, one of the worst. But no, I don't know really why.
He takes a deep breath. And remember, this is a guy. I've seen this guy beat someone up with a metal chair, so he does not play around. He does not play around whatsoever. To continue, here's a clip of Donald Trump saying it's a hoax while sitting with the Bahrain Prime Minister.
But I do want to ask you to clarify something you said this morning. You said this was all a hoax. Has your attorney general told you this was a hoax? What evidence?
No, it's not the attorney general. No, I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters and Comey before him. And it's a bad group. It started, actually, look at the Steele dossier that turned out to be a total hoax. The 51 agents, the so-called intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net, and so they try and do the Democrats' work.
This was him 2 weeks ago attacking Republicans under him who are all now wrapped around his finger, but he's leaving out the part about Pam Bondi being the one to resurface this. He's leaving out the part about himself tweeting about this. He just attacked stupid Democrats, but look at this. He tweeted about this. How can you say that idiot Republicans resurface this when you resurface this? Oh, I guess that actually tracks pretty well.
The Democrats are good for nothing other than these hoaxes. They're bad for policy. They're bad for picking candidates that can get elected. Like in New York, we have a communist running. He may get elected too, actually.
He just goes through his train of thought, stream of consciousness. This is our president. Just yesterday, he launched nuclear submarines towards Russia and fired an independent actor at the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So the country is very rapidly accelerating into authoritarianism. We're not quite there. We will fight back at the midterms. I mean, this weekend I'm doing an event to mobilize people in Arizona and win back the House. So we're going to continue fighting. If you want to become a part of the Out of Mockler community, drop a like, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.
You probably think Squarespace is just for websites, but you can also get a domain from Squarespace.
Trump will huff. Trump will puff. And then he'll give you billions of dollars in unfrozen funds, $12 billion to be exact. That seems to be
be the result of what took place in Switzerland, as there were technical talks mediated by Qatar and Pakistan between the United States and Iran.
Freezing $12 billion in funds. The U.S. is also giving Iran a general license, removing 40 years of sanctions against Iranian oil, petrochemicals, and other resources. Donald Trump, in an Oval Office disastrous presser before, seemed to not know that that even took place. But then he said, but actually, Iran has agreed that they're going to buy all of this produce from our farmers. So our farmers are going to get so rich. Yeah, he's going with that again. And of course, that's not true. Let's talk about feces. It's not, but Donald Trump is talking about the reflecting pool being infested by algae, not because the reflecting pool is getting its water sourced from the Potomac, which has the algae, like everybody predicted. But Donald Trump says Antifa vandals went into the reflecting pool and they started throwing feces and fertilizer into this. And guess what these Antifas did? They then jumped in with a box cutter. They took a knife and they gashed right in the middle. And that's what's happened to the reflecting pool. Reporters said, don't you think people would have seen that happen? Ooh, we've got evidence for it, Donald Trump said. We will be doing a very powerful filing in court in 2 weeks, and then we're going to... Actually, you're fake news, so you may not get to see it, but we will show you maybe, maybe not. Again, more lies from Donald Trump, and it's just so utterly deranged. In international news, UK's Prime Minister Keir Starmer has resigned. Donald Trump then continued to attack the UK. He attacked Italy. He attacked NATO. A major meeting took place among Gulf states as they are now working more closely together to coordinate efforts to ensure that to the extent the United States tries to engage in further war and invasions, that they'll be able to counter it and checkmate it. Iran has been meeting back to back following these talks in Switzerland. Iran's lead negotiator, MB Ghalibaf, meeting in Oman with Oman's foreign minister about the tolling system that Iran and Oman are controlling there. And then we take a look at what's going on in Russia right now as Ukraine launched a major offensive there, hitting Moscow, hitting Crimea, and other areas across Russia, as Russia's air defense system seem no match for Ukrainians' new drones, or as Zelensky says it, long-range sanctions. We'll talk about that and more on this episode of the Midas Touch podcast. Got Brett and Jordy here. We've got a lot to discuss. History unfolding before our eyes. A reordering of a world order happening before our eyes. America's power weakens. Iran's power rises. That's what we're seeing right now happen.
And we're seeing it happen in real time, and it's great to be with everybody to break down all the latest developments. I'm Brett here. It's great to be here with you, Ben. Great to be here with you, Jordy. Great to be here with you, Midas Mighty, whether you're watching us live on YouTube or listening on the audio feed. Always great to discuss the latest topics with you. So much going on. We were tracking these diplomatic meetings that were happening in Switzerland over the weekend. I find all international diplomacy incredibly interesting. There's such a weirdness about it as well when you get all these world leaders in one place. And the thing that I just cannot, I can't stop thinking about is that all of these things that the United States is acting like it accomplished right now, it could have gotten months and months ago without war, without destroying the economy, and without giving up so many concessions to Iran. But as I said in the last episode, to the victor goes the spoils, and Donald Trump is using the algae strategy right now with Iran, and he's used it in every single thing he did, which is obfuscate the truth, continue to lie, double down on lies, create a Russian nesting doll of lies, so you don't even remember what the last lie was. And that's why you gotta follow the facts and follow the data. You gotta look at the actual petroleum reserves, see actually how much oil does the United States really have. What is the state of the battle right now in the Middle East? Is what Donald Trump and CENTCOM are saying accurate, or are the actual raw numbers accurate? I think that's what you gotta do. That's how you cut through the BS here with the Trump regime as they try to flood the zone with lies. You gotta flood the zone with truth. So let's get to the truth. But first, Jordy, what's the latest?
Brothers, Mighty Smarty, how y'all doing? Look, I'm going to start out and ask for a favor. If you are watching right now, and if you're listening, great. If you're watching, please go to the Midas Touch podcast on the audio feeds. It's totally free. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're subscribed on audio because it really helps us out. It helps continue to grow the show. I know we always get a nice viewership here on our YouTube.
Welcome to Ben on Breaking News. I'm Ben Meiselas, and this is your breaking news. You have Donald Trump saying that he expects there to be additional negotiations with a...
At Lee Summit Honda, we don't just sell cars, we build confidence for life.
The United Nations, the President of France, FIFA, the French Football Federation, and the government of Paraguay have all declared their full support for Kylian Mbappe against her comments. Now, let me just ask, I'm gonna take a quick temperature check of y'all in the chat. So she said the racist thing. She got called out for saying the racist thing. What does she do next? Keep in mind, it's 2026. In our world, in 2026, what does she do next? Another one. Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters, and this is Racist of the Week. We explore the stupidity and hypocrisy of discrimination and hopes we can build a more perfect union. And also laugh. As usual, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Racism. And of course, if you have any nominees, you can drop them in the comments. You can email me at admin@reesewaters.com. Today's Hey, Belgium, what y'all doing? Belgium, I'm all for the trolling. Y'all still got them Leopold statues up though?
Today, only hours after revealing to the world that she is super.
Y'all still got the Leopolds? So what y'all talking about? You got Belgium of all people, out here talking. We can't have that. He's right, you know. No, Belgium, sit your behind down. No, we not doing that. And then you get, the people like RG3 jumping in the chat. If you are a U.S. citizen and you aren't rooting for the USA against Belgium, you are a traitor. No other way to put it. You can't be trusted if you're rooting against your country in the World Cup.
Yeah, that brother's starving.
Yes, sir. So apparently RG3 was unaware. Apparently RG3 was unaware. Somebody had to let him know. What you want to do? Do you understand the level of celebration that was had when the women's national team lost? Because, they advocate for LGBTQ rights and ride with Black Lives Matter. MAGA couldn't wait for them to lose and jump all over the timeline. But now, all of a sudden, we have a man. Is it just for the men's? You can root against the women's. Is it just for soccer too? Because we know good and well how MAGA felt about the Team USA basketball team. We know exactly how they felt about that.
MAGA is Make America Great Again. By the way, they love African American people. They love black people.
Wrong. exactly how it warmed MAGA's toes seeing LeBron, KD, and Steph Curry celebrating their gold medal. You know, MAGA wasn't rooting for Jokic or nothing like that. They wouldn't do that publicly on the timeline for all to see. And it's this double standard that we gonna ride with today. It's this double standard right here. This what I'm talking about. This what I'm talking about. The people that will go out here and post time to deport Flo Balogun, he did nothing today, and double down by Gunther Eagleman, you know, one of the online henchmen of this administration. Because I didn't know that was coming. Right? Because I didn't know that was coming. So let me get this straight. I have a mandate to root for Team USA when they lose. I gotta be good with the deportation calls from the MAGAs. The ones that were begrudgingly rooting for them in the first place only because they wanted an opportunity for Trump to hijack the moment and stunt, which we already saw him do when it came to the U.S. hockey team in the Olympics.
You have primary biliary cholangitis, or PBC. Seeing high liver lab results can be alarming. Now, when PBC is progressing despite treatment, people like Amanda are letting liveThis.
I let liveThis take on PBC while I take in the moment.
liveThis improved key PBC labs in 62% of people versus 20% taking placebo. Most people in the trial also took ursodiol. liveThis is a prescription medicine for PBC and is taken with UDCA for adults who have not responded well to UDCA, or alone for those who can't tolerate UDCA. liveThis is not for people with advanced liver disease. It is not known if liveThis improves chance of survival or prevents advanced liver disease. Serious side effects can include bone fractures and changes in liver.
Right. Now we'll do it at the White House. What would really be cool, and we'll do the White House the next day, we'll just have some fun. We have medals for you guys. And we have to, I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Yeah, posted AI videos of the U.S. hockey team slandering Canada, knowing they have to go back to the NHL. Ain't nothing more Canadian
I just wanna see that boy struggle with the phone.
other than maybe OVO,
That's how I feel.
a Raptors game, and maybe a butcher shop. Ain't nothing more Canadian. If they got any of those stores where they only sell boots with the fur on the inside, ain't nothing more Canadian.
Nobody takes us Canadians seriously.
Than the NHL. By the way, shout out to Canada. I love me some Canada. I've said that before. I love me some Canada. Shout out to Manitoba. I'm thorough in Manitoba.
What?
He didn't give a damn, did he? He didn't give a damn. So we supposed to be under the impression that he is legitimately in favor of these players after seeing what he did to the hockey team. Is that what we're doing? From Libs of TikTok, everyone in Flower Mound, Texas area, the Hive Bakery apparently hates conservatives in our country. This was their message for the 4th of July. We refuse to observe this holiday. F this racist regime. Would be a shame if everyone in the area saw this post. To which we get the response, every time MAGA attacks her bakery, she just gets more business. She sold out of everything the last few days. Think I'll take a drive over there and buy some cookies. We just had
play in the garden.
A whole birthday get thrown in the trash. And not any birthday. The 250th birthday.
I'm gonna take the dog out.
The 250th birthday get thrown in the trash. And this how y'all want to act.
I'm about to.
Knowing exactly what the rhetoric was going to be as soon as the tournament was over, like we supposed to be, like, you know what I mean? Like we not supposed to notice. Like we not supposed to notice. I don't understand. MAGAs always act like they talking to MAGAs. Trump always acts like he's talking to Trump. They just assume everybody else has a 3 second memory just because they do. We see you.
I suffer from short-term memory loss.
We see you. And then want to go to some, it would be a shame if everybody saw. Your man at 30%. Your man at 33%. His body fat higher than his approval rating. And you wanna threaten somebody with, it'd be a shame. Word.
Meanwhile,
Celeste Amarillo, a Paraguayan senator, on Kylian Mbappe after France sent Paraguay home, packed them all the way up, posted a senator. This brute hasn't even learned to write. Instead of breast milk, he grew up sucking on coconuts, and the most educated creatures he ever heard were chimpanzees. A colonized Cameroonian pretending to be French, resentful, newly rich, arrogant, and ugly. He was nervous and scared to death all game like his whole team.